my dear students. Today we are studying a new chapter that is agriculture sector in India. I think you have studied the first chapter of this session, agriculture based economy. In this 11th chapter we will discuss the food crops in India. So we can recall the important points regarding this agriculture sector. The importance of agriculture in Indian economical development is very prominent. Agriculture sector occupies a pivotal role in Indian economy. As in this industrial stage also, 70% of the people in India depends upon agriculture sector. So the performance of agriculture sector is judged primarily by its ability to expand production on food items and raw materials. So we have to understand that the increase in agriculture production may come from the three sources, that is expansion of agricultural land, increase in yield per hectare production, and changes in cropping pattern brings the changes in the agriculture sector. Food problem in India is a serious problem that can be solved by different aspects. So, in order to solve the food problem in India, we have to take out some of the measures in food production of India. That we will be discussing in this chapter. So here we have to discuss the classification of agricultural crops. Agricultural crops can be broadly classified into three. First one is food crops. Second one is cash crops. And thirdly it is spices. So, agriculture crops. Three types: food crops, cash crops, and spices are there. In this chapter, we are discussing these food crops. First of all, food crops can be broadly classified into two. That is cereals. Second one is pulses. Cereals and pulses. Again, cereals it is classifies into three. They are rice, wheat, and millets. Understanding? So, cereals again classified into rice, wheat, millets. Pulses can classified into two. They are gram and maize. Understanding? Okay, again millets. Among the cereals are classified into rice, wheat and millets. Millets are three types. Which are the jowar, bajra and ragi. Jowar, bajra and ragi. I have classified only the food crops, not the cash crops. Indian food crops can be classified into mainly two: cereals and pulses. Then cereals again classified into three: rice, wheat, millets. Millets again classified into jowar, bajra and ragi. Cereals and pulses. Among pulses, gram commonly known as chana, and maize also. These are the main food crops in India. Again, cash crops are there. Cash crops are also divided into many. They are some oil seeds, fiber, plantations, other seeds, etc. And in fiber seeds, agro-based, animal-based, etc. it is there. That we will be discussing in the next chapter. So, in this chapter, food crops in India, first we will discuss the cereals. Among the cereals, rice, wheat and millets we will study. Millets again we will classify and we will study regarding jowar, bajra and ragi. Understood? So, this is the way we have to discuss in this chapter. So, dear students, we studied that the importance of agriculture in India. It is the very prominent sector in India, as we are depending mostly on agriculture for food and fodder to the human beings and livestock. And in last chapter we studied the different aspects of agriculture, very salient features of Indian agriculture, which are depending on monsoon, variety of crops, predominance of food crops, agriculture pattern, cropping season. Cropping season is very important. Kharif season, Rabi season and Saeed season. And green revolution also one of the most important topic which we are covered. In green revolution, use of HYV seeds, high yielding varieties of seeds, irrigation, use of insecticides and pesticides, consolidation of holdings, land reforms, rural electrification, improved rural infrastructure, supply of agriculture credit, use of chemical fertilizers, opening of agriculture universities, etc. we discussed it in last chapter. And some of the problems in Indian agriculture, that is also we discussed it. Small and fragmented land holdings, poor quality of seeds, and pest and diseases, lack of proper use of manure and fertilizers, traditional upbringings, and erratic nature of rainfall. Flood and droughts are common in Indian agriculture sector, etc. we discussed in last chapter. And also types of farming, mainly subsistence farming and commercialization of farming we discussed it. Plantation farming also we have discussed it. Mixed farming also we studied. So in this chapter, next chapter, we are moving to the next chapter, that is the agriculture in India, second, food problems. Food crops and cash crops. Two chapters are there that we will study. Agriculture in India. In this chapter, we are going to study food crops of India. Main food crops like rice, wheat, millets, and pulses. Mainly, food crops in India includes these: rice, wheat, millets, and pulses. Millets includes jowar, bajra, and ragi. Pulses includes gram, or which we are commonly known as the chana. We will study. So, dear students, we have to remember that what are the main climatic condition which is needed for the growth of these food crops, that we will commonly study regarding rice, wheat, millets and pulses. In climate, temperature and rainfall we will discuss. Also soil conditions which are needed for the growth of these food crops. Methods of farming, different methods of farming we will discuss. And areas and states where these crops are growing well. These are the main points we are going to discuss in this chapter. So let's see one by one. Rice, first of all, we will. Rice is a kharif crop. Kharif and rabi crops. Kharif crops are mainly grows in the month of April to November. So rice, most suited months in India, which grows in April to November. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, these months. On the other hand, rabi crops, they grows in the month of October to March. That is the difference. So rice, it is mostly grows in India as a kharif crops. And its importance, what we are discussing, that is support half of the Indian population. And it is a staple food of India. And it is also known as the tropical as well as the subtropical crop. Rice is a tropical as well as the subtropical crop. Why? The climatic condition which is needed for the tropical area, that is suitable for, or the subtropical area. Rice needs more temperature. While discussing about the climate, we will understand this. And also it is a versatile crop. Different varieties, almost 10,000 varieties of rice can be grown here. So 10,000 varieties of. It is a staple food. Tropical and subtropical area it grows. And versatile crop. Why it is versatile? Question can ask. It is almost 10,000 varieties of rice can found in different part of the world. And also almost 4,000 varieties of rice can found in India. That is why it is versatile. And also it is grows in India almost all the areas. In lowland, terrace regions of Kashmir and different altitude it is grows. And varieties, types and varieties of rice. It is a kharif crop, already I told you. And also three varieties of rices can found in India. They are, first of all, wet or lowland rice. Rice grows in the lowland area, plain area, wherever mostly the irrigation facilities naturally available, there it is grows. So that first type it is wet or lowland type. Second type is the hilly stations, terrace area, the slopes of the hill, terrace cultivation of rice. And third it is the dry or upland rices are growing. That is the rice grows in the hilly regions also. That is what it is. Three types are there. Now the different varieties of soil which is needed for the growth of rice that we are discussing. So deep fertile clay or friable loamy soil is most suited for the growth of the rice cultivation. And also black soil, wherever black lava soil nearby the Deccan Plateau or the Deccan Trap, wherever it is found, that is also good for the growth of the cultivation of rice. And also soil requirement marks of essentially a crop of lowlands, river valley, food plains, deltas and coastal plains. Rice it is growing well. So these are the types of soil which is needed for the growth of the rice. Climatic requirements, that is important. Climatic, which is related with the temperature, that is almost 16 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius temperature wherever it is getting. That is the main temperature requirement needed for the growth of the rice. And also during the growing season, 18 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius ripening stage temperature is good for the growth of the rice, and it needs plenty of sunshine also. This is the temperature requirements. We can see the rainfall requirements which is needed for the growth of the rice. That is the average rainfall required, it is about 150 centimeter to 200 centimeter rainfall. 150 to 200 centimeter rainfall getting area. And also flooded field it is needed. Beginning stage, whenever the seeds are sowing, that time the flooded fields are needed, and wherever the plowing is suitable, there it is growing. And also slight rain also. Before ripening, slight raining is essential. And also, if we are summing up this, the climatic condition which is needed for the growth of the rice, we can summarize like this. Plenty of sunshine it is needed, heavy rainfall or irrigated deep alluvial clayey soil, and plenty of labor to work on for the growth of the soil. It is essential for the growth of rice cultivation. Dear students, next topic is methods of cultivation. Rice cultivation methods we have to discuss. Mainly 4 methods are there. First one, it is the broadcasting method. So broadcasting method is also known as scattering method. The seed that is scattering by hand or mechanically over a relatively large area. So in the broadcasting method, seeds are scattering here and there by the hand or by the machines. And this method is very cheap as it advantages considering the broadcasting method or the scattering method is very cheap and it saves time also. But there are some disadvantages are also there. In broadcasting method, seeds zoned in this method are distributed unevenly, which may result in overcrowding. So the same area itself, a lot of seeds can be gathered together, that can be moved to the overcrowding. This method may not ensure that all seeds are sown at the correct depth also. And also the seedling, where seed is placed at a precise spacing also it can cause. So this method also in rice and wheat cultivation it is using. Its advantages and disadvantages we studied. Next, the method is called the method of cultivation is called the dibbling method. Dibbling. In this method, seeds are dropped at regular intervals in the furrows or the holes, furrows, and made by the farmers with the help of a plowing or a dibbler. Dibbler is using and making the holes, or it is commonly known as furrows. FURROWS. Furrows are making. In these furrows, the seeds are dropping. And dibbling method are also having some of the advantages and disadvantages. In dibbling method, less seeds are required. That is the first advantage. And also there is no wastage of seeds. So less seeds are needed, and at the same time wastage it is preventing. And dibbling method includes some disadvantages. This method is very time consuming. Making the furrows or the holes time consuming, cost is high, and also more labor is required. Dibbling method, that is disadvantages are also there. And also the third method is called a drilling method. Drilling method, using the plows, seeds are dropped through a bamboo shaft attached to the furrows and made by the plow in a straight line. So in this method, through the preventing wastage of seed is very time consuming. So by using the bamboo shaft which is attached with the machines that is scattering the seeds, and sometimes seeds are soaked in the water also in order to get the germination faster. It is the seeds are soaking, and after that it is scattering in the drilling method. And this method is mostly used in the Tamil Nadu and Peninsular South Indian region only. And the advantages of the drilling method is it does not allow wastage of seeds as like in the dibbling method, and less seed is required in drilling method, and manures, fertilizers and other amendments can be applied with the seeds during the drilling method. And the fourth advantage is rapid germination, as it is soaking. Seeds are soaking in the water. So that in drilling method, four advantages are there. First of all, it does not allow the wastage of seeds, and less seeds are required. Manure, fertilizer and other things are also can applied with the drilling time itself, and also rapid germination of seeds are possible. Some disadvantages are there in the drilling method. They are this method saving wastage of seed is very time consuming, and also cost is high for the drilling method, and more labor is required. So drilling method is the third method which is used in the rice cultivation. And the another method, it is a transplantation method. In transplantation method, it is fertile soil, abundant rainfall, plenty of sunshine and plenty of supply of labor it is utilizing. So in this method, first seeds are sown in nurseries after soaking them in water for 24 hours. How the plant nurseries are making the saplings. After that, these saplings are bringing to the field and it is sowing. So that transplantation method, first of all, in the nursery, the saplings are nurturing and it is replanted to the field. That method is called a transplantation method. After 4 weeks, when the seeds are about 20 centimeter tall, then they are transplanted to the field, flooded field, and so that they can grow very well. So transplantation method, it is nurturing from the nursery and it is transplanted to the field. It is also having, this transplantation method are having some of the most important advantages. It is done by hand. A lot of manual labor is applied in the field. They will get the employment opportunities. And also, when there is less wastage of seeds as in the broadcasting method. And the next advantage is occasionally and environmentally ideal method for seedling it is. Some disadvantages are also there. Labor cost is very high as it has to transplant it to the field. And seeds are not exposed. And the next disadvantage is plants tend to grow slowly because of the recovery time after transplantation. And nursery preparation and pulling of seedling is required, hence more time consuming. These are the main disadvantages of transplantation. So in these methods of cultivation, 4 types of cultivation method we have discussed. Each one is having its disadvantages and advantages. And the last method is Japanese method. In Japanese method, as like the transplantation method, the nursery cultivation or the nursery nurturing it is practicing, and the use of less but good quality of seeds are providing. Sowing the seeds in raised nursery buds, and also transplanting the seeds in rows to make weedling or weeds and fertilizing easy. This also involves much use of manure to obtain higher yielding. So, Japanese method is an advanced method of transplantation method. And in most of the regions of India, rice is grown twice or thrice. But in hilly region, only
crop is growing because of the severe weather condition. And in Northeast India, the primitive method of cultivation or zooming method or slash and burn method it is practiced for growing rice. This method is wasteful as cause a lot of damage to the soil. Hence it is no forbidden. That means the slash and burn method it is a primitive method, ancient method. It is not suitable, but it is used for the cultivation of rice in the hilly station, especially in the Northeast India. Now we have to move to the next topic, that is harvesting process of rice cultivation. So the cut crop it is leaving in the field to dry for a period that is almost about 3 to 4 days. It is leaving into the field in order to move out the stem plant or the outer shell. It has to take out. It is known as kernel. In order to separate the kernel, it is threshing and trampled by the bullock, and it is separating the kernel. Sometimes it is done by the bullock, or it is sometimes leaving into the roadside road. Whenever the vehicles are, it is moving through there, the kernel it is separated from the stem plant or outer shells are taking out. And by polishing, bran it is taking out. The rice may look better, but important nutrients are lost in the process. And hand pounded rice is considering as the better and more nutritious. So harvesting process it is. Now, as I told you, dry it is leaving for 3 to 4 days. Then threshed and trampled by bullocks to separate the kernel from the seeds. And also it is polishing and taking out the brands. Now the diseases, pest and diseases that are harmful for rice. And rice it is Tengaro virus. That is the Tengaro virus is the first disease which can cause. Green leaf hopper can be the next one. Rice cause worms also. Paddy stem bone, blast of a bacterial leaf stick, and stem root and strips are the other diseases which can be caused to the rice cultivation. Now the problems in rice cultivation, some of the major problems in rice cultivation that we can see. Rice yield per hectare is very low compared to the other countries wherever the rice cultivation is there. Yield per hectare it is very less in India. And the next problem is suitable price for the crops. Rice cultivation it is not getting to the farmers, and there are a lot of middlemen are there in rice. And next problem is proper storage of rice is not available. The next problem is diseases and damages are there. Bacteria affected and virus or fungus it is affecting. These are the main problems which are faced. The 4 points you can remember. Sometimes question can ask. What are the main problems faced by Indian cultivation of rice? Then next topic is the distribution of rice crop. Major rice producing states are the main states: West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Odisha and Bihar are the main states. And the distribution, almost all part of the India, there are except the higher parts of Himalaya. Other than Himalayas, almost all part of India it is cultivating rice. It is cultivating. Lower and middle gigantic plains, Brahmaputra Valley, east and west coastal regions, part of peninsular plateau, especially in Tamil Nadu, etc. The cultivation of rice it is taking place. And regions of main cultivated regions in West Bengal are almost in West Bengal 15% of rice it is cultivating. It is the largest producing state of India. 15% of the total production of India. It is mainly the lower Ganga Valley and large scale alluvial soil wherever it is available in West Bengal region, there it is producing. Second, in Tamil Nadu region 9.32% of rice in India it is producing. And mainly due to the effect of green revolution, it is produced high yielding varieties of seeds are used, and that is why it is producing mostly in this area. About 37% of land in the state of Tamil Nadu, it is cultivating the rice. Mainly the Kaveri Delta region, it is most suited area for the cultivation of rice. And areas in north where rice is growing with the help of the irrigation are the Punjab region, Haryana, as we know, western Uttar Pradesh, our state, and other states including Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha, and Kerala also. Mostly it is rice it is cultivating. So these are the main points we have to remember regarding this rice producing regions. So we can revise the topic. We studied that rice cultivation, food crops in India. First one, it is rice cultivation. Rice is a kharif crop. It's an important crop of India. It is a staple food of India, and it is mainly the tropical and subtropical crop. Okay, that we discussed. Versatile it is, and 3 varieties of rices we can found, and soil condition it is which is needed for the cultivation. Alluvial soil it is alluvial and clay soil and black cotton soil it is growing well. Temperature and the rainfall we have studied, and 5 methods of cultivation we discussed. Rice cultivation, methods of cultivation we discussed, and the harvesting process we have discussed, and after that the main diseases which can cause for the rice cultivation, that is also we have discussed. And now the problems in rice cultivation, main problems which are facing in rice cultivation, 4 or 5 main problems we discussed, and the major rice producing states of India and the regions wherever there is, which are the main regions including West Bengal and Tamil Nadu and the other part of North India wherever the rice cultivation it is there, that we have discussed. And next it is the another one most important food crop of India, that is the wheat, that we are going to study. Wheat is a rabi crop. So as we have discussed, rice is a kharif crop. Kharif crops grows in the month of June to November, but the rabi crops grows in October to March. Wheat is mainly a rabi crop. Okay, then here also we will discuss the main climatic condition for the growth of wheat, in that temperature, rainfall, also soil condition, methods of cultivation, and the areas wherever the wheat it is growing well. Wheat is the most important food grain in India. Most important food grain in India. So it is a staple food for the millions of Indians. Just like the rice, it is also staple food for million people, so especially in North Indian. And it is rich in proteins, vitamins, and other carbohydrates, and it provides a balanced diet also. Also, we have to remember that it is the account almost 8.7% of the world's total production of wheat in India. It accounts for 8.7% of world's total production of wheat. It is from India. India is the 4th largest producer of wheat in the world. After Russia, USA and China, 4th largest producer of wheat producer in the world. And wheat is a temperate crop. It is needs less temperature only. As we studied that 16 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius rice temperature is needed for the growth of the rice, but rice is growing in the tropical and subtropical region, but the wheat it is growing in the temperate region. That means it is a less temperature region. It is grows in winter and harvested in the March, April. That is what it is called the Rabi crop. October to March it is suitable, and so it is a Rabi crop. And wheat grows well on level plains, especially of a farming in mechanized in India. Mainly grows in flat alluvial plains of North India, which it is growing. So this is the main important facts you have to remember regarding the wheat. Now the types and varieties, just like the rice. So there are two main types of wheats are there. First of all, the normal bread variety. It is normal bread variety includes it is grows on the irrigated lands where the soil is friable, suitable for loam and clay in nature. That area normal bread variety it is growing. This mostly grows in India and the places of Punjab, Haryana and our state UP. So first type it is the normal bread variety. Second it is the harder variety or macaroni wheat it is. Macaroni wheat. So it is grows well on clay black soil in areas of the high rainfall. So first variety, that is bread variety, it is grows in the loamy and clay soil. But the second one, it is macaroni type, it is grows in the areas of high regions where the black soil, clay black soil is available. Like in India, in MP, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and the western Andhra Pradesh, it is grows well. So these are the main two types of wheat which is found in India. Here we have to remember that, my dear students, we have to compare and study rice crops and wheat. Rice and wheat we have to compare and study. Both the two are, rice is a kharif and wheat is a rabi crop. And what are the climatic conditions, both rice and wheat it is needed to grow, and what are the soil conditions it is needed to grow, what is the temperature and rainfall it is varies both. If you are comparing and study, it will be easy to write the questions answer. So today this is enough. We are winding up. Next day we will start with the soil condition and the climatic requirements which is needed for the growth of wheat. From there we will start. Till that you have to revise it well, read and memorize it well. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.